สวัสดีค่ะ and welcome to Thailand News Update. In today's news, updates on the reopening of Thailand's bars and nightlife venues, hotel isolation for asymptomatic guests in Phuket, and 3 Buddhist monks facing expulsion from monkhood due to alcohol consumption. All that and more coming up. Thailand's bars were being told that they would have to wait until January 15th to reopen. But the business owners and staff's patience is going to be tested again after the health minister is trying to postpone the date as well. Like with the test and go postponement until the end of this month, the CCSA will need to vote until an official announcement is made on the matter of the bar's reopening. This time, the public health minister has asked for the postponement after numerous businesses were found to have failed to implement the appropriate disease control measures, which he says is resulting in major outbreaks in many provinces, especially Chonburi and Kalasin. Mr. Anutin said it was clear that the emergence of many COVID clusters was linked to gatherings at bars and restaurants where alcohol was being served. He said their repeated failure to properly implement disease control measures outlined by Thai health authorities has forced the government to reconsider its plans to reopen certain entertainment venues, such as nightclubs. The minister slammed a lack of conscience, which has once again put the country at risk of a new wave of COVID-19 infections, saying he asked the local Communicable Diseases Committee to pursue legal action against businesses that violated public health guidelines. There was a total of 2,062 Omicron cases as of yesterday, with major clusters reported in Kalasin, Roi Et, and Chonburi. The hotel industry in Phuket is preparing to offer a hotel isolation for asymptomatic guests in a major effort to keep the island sandbox program functional. There's been a spike in Omicron infections on the island and a growing number of agitated guests who are refusing to pay for expensive hotel beds. Many of the insurance policies will cover asymptomatic patients for their medical coverage, but not the accommodation side of their health care, unless they are sick. The president of the Thai Hotels Association's Southern Group says that many hotels are just not equipped to transfer guests to hospitals and are having difficulty with some guests refusing to go to hospital because they're simply not sick. He also said that legally, the hotels don't have the authority to force guests to go to a hospital and that these sort of heavy-handed actions are being reported more frequently in social media. So he's recommending that some sort of hotel isolation could be a solution, reducing the risk of infected patients roaming around the island without treatment. Still on the southern island, schools in Phuket remain closed until January 14th due to the uptick in local infections. Schools, universities, and other study centers are now being urged to offer online versions of their classes. Public schools will hold classes online for the next 2 weeks. But some schools may be allowed to offer classes on site, but all of these students must have a negative result from a rapid antigen test. Phuket's public health organization reported 149 new cases yesterday, with 21 cases involving sandbox travelers and 14 cases involving test-and-go travelers. 784 patients in Phuket are still being treated for COVID-19.
Another stunning day off the coast of Phuket, and I'm with Sean Stenning from 5 Star Marine, and in the background is Phuket, and you can probably see that tiny speck of white up on the hill. That's the big Buddha, and if the camera's moving around, that's because we're on a boat. So Sean, we're just like, what, less than an hour off the island of Phuket?
Literally 20 minutes from the pier right here at Koh Kai. So really, like, for me, this is just the perfect small half day or even full day trip to just go out and test yourself on the sea. If you've never been out before, the sea's calm. You know, we've just come here ourselves, and you could attest that the sea's nice and flat.
So how many places could you visit, say, on a half-day tour?
Oh, you know, here we've got the 3 Kai Islands. We also have the 2 Nakanoi, Nakaye Islands. And then if we're really lucky and low tide, there's a sandbar called Capybara. It's a beautiful sandbar, only available at low tide.
So if you're sort of looking for that sunset shot, the walking along the deserted beach and the champagne sunset and all that, you can do that literally within a half-hour ride of Phuket.
Exactly right, exactly right.
All right, so Thailand is opening up. It's never looked better as far as the water quality, the beaches are clear, and there's not that many people, so please come back.
3 Buddhist monks are facing expulsion from monkhood after they were caught drinking alcohol on New Year's Day, a violation of their code of conduct. Apparently, locals gave rice whiskey to the temple as an offering to their ancestors, but a monk says they drank all the alcohol as a way to, quote, deliver the alcohol to the dead people, end quote. Well, you have to admire their creativity. Residents called the local police in the central province, Kamphaeng Phet, concerned that the monks were partying and drinking alcohol on New Year's Eve. Some of the monks were tested for their alcohol level and, yep, they appear to have been delivering the alcohol to the dead ancestors quite a lot. One of the senior monks denied drinking the alcohol offering, but police say he later admitted saying the monks drank the whiskey to deliver the alcohol to those who had died and didn't think it would be against the monastic norms. He told police, quote, "We were doing a good thing by blessing their ancestors and thought this would not violate the rules of being a monk," end quote. Social media has been active after an owner of a zoo in Thailand's northeastern Khon Kaen province posted disturbing pictures of a capybara being abused. The owner urged visitors not to harm the creatures as they are friendly and no harm to the zoo's visitors. The owner of the Khon Kaen Exotic Pets and the Fountain Show Zoo told Thai media that visitors flocked to the zoo on New Year's Day and given baskets of vegetables to feed the animals. But one person was surprised when a capybara approached them. The visitor hit the creature with the basket until it bled. Staff members at the zoo quickly treated the animal's wounds after the incident. The zoo owner explained that capybaras are tame, friendly, and enjoy pets and playing with humans, and there's never before been a case of capybaras being abused at the zoo. The owner is asking the person who abused the animal to come forward. The Philippines has issued a warning to incoming travelers that anyone breaking quarantine rules might face fines of up to 50,000 Philippine pesos, that's around $1,000 or 6 months in prison, as it prepares to deal with the new Omicron strain in the wake of a spike in new infections. During a television interview yesterday, President Duterte's spokesperson said that the government will track down the violators who break the protocols, adding that criminal charges will also be filed against those who set a bad example for others. He said, "Don't even think about breaking the rules because we'll track you down, even the hotels." The warning follows a cluster of cases by a Filipino woman who returned to Manila from the United States and allegedly breached quarantine regulations by attending a party in Makati City, testing positive for the virus with 7 of her 15 close contacts last month. Another traveler from the United States was also reported to have skipped quarantine, and authorities have launched an investigation into the case. The Department of Interior and local government and police have now been ordered to make random visits to different quarantine hotels across the country. And that wraps up the morning news for today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep up with all the latest news around Thailand and the region. Also, stay tuned for Good Morning Thailand and Thailand News Today this evening with Jet Gunther. I'm Natty from the Thaiger. Sawadee ka.